start pulling some drivers in here to do some interviews. First one is going to be Chad Snyder. Hey, Chad, you got a copy here. It's the broadcast booth here.
Sir, Faded, how's it going?
Hey, it's going good, man. So how's practice going right now? You feeling good about the race?
I feel okay about my race pace. This place is super hard to pass at, man. So I'm trying to nail down a good qualifying lap, so to speak, but I'm not having a lot of success at it. But should be in decent shape. The strong part of my game is usually my race pace, so we'll just have to attack it with what we have and see what's going on.
Sure. So the two main reasons why I brought you in here. Number one, you are sitting 5th in points. Now, this is a cutoff race, so the points are very close in that 4th, 5th, 6th, and even 7th place driver. So what's your strategy tonight? Are you going to go all out and try to win the race? Are you racing for points, trying to at least make it to the end to see if you can get a clean 3, 4, 5 finish?
I mean, going into this, looking where I'm at in points, I can't really afford to take too many risks, because as everybody saw in the race last week, I took a little bit of a risk at the very start, and it cost me big time, put me in this situation. So tonight's going to just kind of settle out, take what the car will give me, and by the end of the race, if I get into a position where I can make something happen, then maybe weigh that option when we get there. But kind of taking the conservative approach tonight to try to get through this race and be locked in and keep chasing that trophy after this week.
Sure. So, and then final closing with this, tell me about this place in Fredericksburg, Virginia. I heard you have a new sponsor to finish out the season. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and plug that business for you?
I do. We've got Fringe Hair Lounge on the car this week. We ran them also back at Richmond. It's a business, as you said, in Fredericksburg, Virginia. It's a hair salon that's owned by my sister-in-law, whose name is Jennifer. I don't know if she's watching or not. I did send her the link, but she started this business a little over a year ago, in the midst of a pandemic, and still has been wildly successful at it. She has a number of very, very talented stylists there with her that work for her there, and she was nice enough to allow us to put her name on the car here and try to get her some publicity through the stream here, and hopefully we can get her a good result. Didn't work out too well at Richmond, but one thing I definitely want to mention about them is that Fredericksburg holds a contest that's voted on by the public every year called Best of the Burg for various different businesses, and they actually won it for hair salons this year, their first year in existence.
Well, there you go.
Definitely, that's the seal that's on the back of the car, and that's something I definitely wanted to celebrate.
Well, there it is, man. Hey, appreciate you, Chad. We're going to let you get back and do your last fine-tuning as we got about 3 minutes to go. We appreciate your time, and, hey, who knows, maybe we'll be talking to you at the end of this race.
So, Faded, you guys have a good one.
That's it.
Good luck, Chip.
See, Lewis, he was really quiet on my end. I think it's a lot of these drivers turning their Discord down so that they're not yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Let's get I want Joshua Hetrick in here. I'm going to pull him in. Hey, Josh, it's Faded and Louis up in the broadcast. You got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, man. Sounds good. Can you turn up your voice a little bit? You're probably the quietest guy of the bunch right now, and I don't want this interview to go unnoticed, but we'll work with what we got. People in the chat says that comms are coming off fine. So obviously I want to pull you in here because, hey, you're the number one driver here after the 2 races we've done, 3 races that we've done. So we're in a cutoff race here. Obviously it's going to take a lot for you to get cut off and drop all the way to that 7th, but that doesn't mean that there's not pressure on you to keep grinding. Obviously, you're only up 6 points against David Lurfano. The rest of the pack behind David is so tight. What is your focus going into these races here? You don't have to worry about a cutoff, but you obviously have to worry about both David's and Travis Rodriguez catching you up in points.
Yeah, right now my main goal is just survive in advance. These flat, short tracks like this and Martinsville coming up aren't my best tracks. When we get later to the Chicagoland and Michigan, if I can make it that far, those kind of play in my wheelhouse. So right now it's just survive in advance and get to the championship.
All right, Josh, we're coming up on about 1:20, so I'll keep this short so you can get some last-minute details in there. Thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us, and good luck in the race.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good luck, Josh.
I'll let you take this next one. We're going to be calling in David Hara, who is tied with Travis Rodriguez, third in points. So I'm going to pull him in. You can ask him a couple of questions.
Hello, David. It's Louis in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you.
Hey, man. Coming into this race, last race of the of one of the knockout phases. How you feeling going into this race?
The 15 blue gray custom plastic fabrication car is pretty good. I mean, this is a tough track. You go in entry really hard, get on those brakes, get on the binders, get it woed up, try to let it roll the center, and then picking up the throttle on exit is very tough. Liable to see some cars spin out today. I hope I'm not one of them, but we think we got a pretty good shot at this one tonight.
How's your car feeling on track? Is it slippery? How's the track feel to you?
Seem to be getting off the turns pretty good. I mean, considering what's happening with some of the other drivers, but the concentration level that you have to keep lap after lap here is what seems to be difficult for me. After a little while, if I let up off the concentration a little bit, I'm turning the car around.
Good stuff, man. Well, we're just about to go into qualifying, so we'll let you go. Good luck in qualifying. Good luck in the race, my friend.
Alrighty, as we're going to pull David back into the race chat, these guys are going to be finishing up practice, heading into qualifying here as we take a look. As we've been talking with a couple of these guys, this is a cutoff race at New Hampshire. This is going to be 150 laps with the top 4 drivers in points. I thought it was top 6. So that's actually a really big deal here. That changes everything that I was just talking about, as we're going to be losing 2 extra drivers. So the top 4 drivers in points at the conclusion of this race will move on to, no, I'm sorry, it is 6. It is 6. The way that this graph is, it's just all over the place, so I apologize. So top 6 drivers, but we're at New Hampshire here. Next week does start the round of 6, which is named correctly. There'll be 6 drivers left in the playoffs. That's going to be at Martinsville. That's going to be a 300 lapper. You don't want to miss that. That's going to be on June 22nd. Now, June 29th, we're going to head to Pocono, which is going to be 60 laps, and then we're going to finish the round of 6 at Chicagoland on July 6th. That's going to be 100 laps. Now, that will be the top 4 drivers in the championship round, and that is where we will take place for our championship race at Michigan, July 20th, 100 laps. So pretty good schedule coming up, Louis. A lot of good tracks. Martinsville is going to be a heck of a show, a small track. And then we're going to move them up to a little bit bigger, Pocono and Chicagoland and Michigan. What are your thoughts on the rest of the schedule?
Well, especially with Martinsville, it's going to be a throwback weekend. So you're going to see a lot of nice throwback schemes there. Martinsville is going to be suiting more of your likes of like David Lafano. He loves his short tracks, so expect him to do well there too. And then we got Chicagoland, where Ike could be back in the car. Again, that'd probably be like another Kentucky. Expect Patrick McQuaid to go well there. So it's going to be a good shot. It's going to be quite interesting going into Michigan of who goes where, because all these tracks coming up, everyone has their advantages and disadvantages there. Every driver drives it different and is faster than some.
Alrighty, thank you for closing out on that. Thank you for the follow, MJ Hara. We appreciate you. I'm sure you're a fan of David Hara as he's running that blue-gray number 15 as he did last week with that livery. So 2 minutes to go here in qualifying before we start getting them onto the grid. And so far, for the first time since I've been calling it, David Hara, he was not lying in the interview. Said his car felt good, said that 15 was sticking to the track, and that he was mentally focused, and he is going to be our pole leader at 30.26 seconds, followed by Patrick McQuaid in the 77, who's a half a second behind. And then the number 8 G Fuel of David Lurfano, almost a 0.09, excuse me, I'm sorry, 0.05 Patrick McQuaid. So he's actually right on David Hara's bumper, followed by David Lurfano, 0.09. Joshua Hendrick, our championship leader right now, is going to be a quarter of a second off pace from David Hara.
And it also, Jonathan Mays, he's still not done a lap time. He's just gone out on track. So he started his qualifying laps quite late. He's been fast in practice all week. So I expect him to put a fight out there for the top 2.
Yes, indeed. As a lot of these drivers are sitting in the point standings. A few of them are even tied with one another. A couple of drivers are only 2 points off of each other. So this is a very, very important race for a lot of these drivers. I'm going to bring up the graphic here one more time just so I can get everything right here, get the correct names. The Cup points, if we're looking at this right now, the top 6 are going to move in. We got Joshua Hendrick in first with 1,092. David Lurfano, 1,086, and David Hara and Travis Rodriguez at 1,078. They're tied for third. Now, this is when it starts getting close. You have Chad Snyder at 1,076. Jonathan May, 1,070. Right now, he's holding on to that cutoff position. Frederick Houle is only 2 points behind Jonathan May, who is also tied with Tyrone Yo at 1,068. So Frederick Houle and Tyrone Yo, they need a really good race right now, but so does Jonathan May and Chad Snyder as they sit 5th and 6th. You got Jonathan Higgins with 1,046, and then Kyle Martin, who has missed a couple of races in his defense, sitting at 10th with 1,002. So right now, tonight, our eyes are going to be on that Chad Snyder, Jonathan May, and Frederick Houle and Tyrone Yo, as those guys are fighting for that 6th place so that they can make it into the next cutoff next week.
Sadly about Frederick, though, he couldn't make the race today. So it's going to be a bit of a... it's going to be a bit bad because he's on that cutoff.
Well, that is good. Yeah, that is going to be good news for the rest of the drivers, as Frederick Houle was tied with Tyrone Yo at 1068, sitting on the bubble there. So that means Jonathan May only really has to worry about one driver instead of 2 drivers. So that's a big break for Jonathan May, and that's a good break for Tyrone Yo, as now he's only got 1 driver to chase as well, and that's the Jonathan May car.
Yeah. It's going to be, it's going to be an exciting race, though. As I said to you earlier, these last, especially through these knockout stages, everyone drives every track different. Everyone's advantage is at different tracks. So this race is going to be very good in particular. The back end is going to get loose out of turn 2, turn 4. Expect a lot of spinning in this race. That's what I can tell you.
Yeah, I was watching in practice a little bit. I caught about the last 10 minutes before we started getting the stream ready, and there was definitely a lot of cars getting on the power just a little bit too early out of these turns and definitely getting loose. But nonetheless, we're going to hop on board up front here with David Harris, our pole sitter in that 15. As we get out of pit lane and up into the blimp is where I like to start these green flags. 1 lap to green. The pace truck's going to go off the track. David Harris is going to be leading us around here. Pace car's off. Green flag racing as David Harris gets out to a big lead. The 77 of Patrick McQuaid decides to keep it high. He does have the inside if he wants it. That's the 00 car of Jonathan May sitting at 3rd. David Lurfano in 4th on the outside in that 8 gray G Fuel. The number 25 car, that black livery, that's Joshua Hendrick. That's our championship points leader right now, defending on that inside. He seems to be the only car on the inside right now, as all the other drivers have preferred to take the high side and that middle side. Louis, what's your thoughts on that?
It's going to, let's just see how everyone goes. it's going to be quite interesting with this race, seeing how people go. There's loads of lines still around New Hampshire. Everyone's looking like they're going to go high for now, but once these tires come in, expect some dive on them.
Yeah, absolutely. As David Hara gets off to a comfortable start here, he's about a half second into the lead. We've seen Patrick McQuaid, Louis, up front pretty much every race this season. He's trailed you in both of your races that you've won. He wasn't able to hit all the races in the regular season, but I got a feeling if Patrick McQuaid can make the full season, he's going to be a car that's going to be up front pretty much most of the season.
Oh yeah, he will. Patrick has got so much speed. It is amazing. Going back to Kentucky, especially when our tyres went off, he kept me on my heels. So he is going to be, especially going into next season, he's going to be quite interesting to see what he's like.
So far, so good as we complete 4 laps out of the 150 here at New Hampshire. This is race number 4 out of our championship 10 here at All-American Racing League. We're on Tuesday nights. We race the NASCAR Cups. Catch us on Thursday nights at 7 o'clock Central for Tour Mods. And coming up next season on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Central is going to be the NASCAR Truck Series. Luis, you got any plans next season to run any of those?
Probably. We're gonna try and do at least half of the season. Again, it depends on what's going on with my team. See what's going on there. It's too early to say, but I'm hoping that I could actually make the whole season.
So there you go. Hey, you guys heard it here first. Luis is winning half of the races next season at least. As we take a look at the field here, if you see a P next to the driver's name, that means they are a playoff contender, which is pretty much everybody tonight except Patrick McQuaid and Larry Garnes.
It looks like Chad's got a problem on the backstretch down into 3. He did hit the wall coming out of 4 a couple of laps ago.
Yeah, as we take a look back at some of the replays here, our point standing leader, Joshua Hetrick, in that 25 car, did actually get a little bit high there. We are going to have a caution. So let's end session here, and now let's go take a look at what brought us our first caution of the night. See if we can get a replay of that as we see Chad Snyder gonna take it to the pits. He's missing his front end there. That's a tough break for him. I can't seem to get a good replay of the accident that brought us to our caution.
I believe it was on lap 2 on the exit of 4.
Oh, I think it couldn't have been the 25 car. That was a 1-car accident. Well, nonetheless, though, first caution here at New Hampshire on lap number 7, as we are now on lap number 8. We're going to spend our first 2 laps under caution here, 143 laps to go. Sim racing apps, I might have to try something else, Louis. Last week, I was doing the same thing. Anytime there was a caution, it just kept showing me like the very first crash of the race. So some technical difficulties going on with simracingapps.com, but I'll get to the bottom of that before we enter next week. So we take a look at the inside here. Bar of this number 25. That's Joshua Hetrick sitting back in 7th place. He's got a little bit of front end damage as he did kiss the wall. Talking to him into the pre-race, he says he just wants to drive and survive, as he is sitting pretty comfortable as far as not getting cut off, but he's got some hungry dogs behind him, Louis, coming up and getting these points.
Exactly. There's going to be a lot of now, especially with this this yellow flag. Is people gonna try and gamble it? They got I believe two sets of tires that they can take here. 150 lap race. It's a hot track. Expect people to actually come in at some point.
So I'm taking a look at some of these cars. I don't see anybody really damaged except for that number 5 car of Chad Snyder, but he was missing his whole front end. So It very well could have been that incident with Joshua Hetrick pulling the caution out, as he did kiss the wall. It did kind of bring him underneath competition speed, so I'm going to go ahead and go with that as being the cause of our caution, and we'll see if that catches back up as we take a look at the number 15 car. That's blue-gray custom plastic fabrication. Go ahead and look them up on Google at bluegraycustomfab.com. That's David Hara, who's sitting third in our point standings, who's led all 10 laps of tonight's race. Not much has changed in the top three. David Harris still sitting in first. Patrick McQuaid in that 77 going to be on the outside starting this restart in second place. And the black 00 of Jay May sitting in third. Rodriguez has made his way up to fourth in that orange 79 livery. David Lorfano is going to go from his fourth place start back to fifth. Tyrone Yo in sixth. Larry Garnes in eighth. And the number 5 of Chad Snyder, with that damage, working on that car, is going to be our back marker. So
I've just found out the yellow flag come out from race control for the number 5 going slow down the backstretch.
Okay.
From that incident on the exit of 4.
All right, good. Fair enough. Thank you for that information, Lou. We appreciate that. Pace car's off. Yep, go ahead, Louie. Call it.
So I can't see anything for a minute.
Oh, yeah, that is true. You're on the delay here. So I'll take it from here. David Harris with a huge start on that as he was working on that outside. He's going to retain his lead coming off that. Nothing's changed in the top three. Patrick McQuaid on the 77 working that high line. Here comes Jay May on the inside, though. He's going to be in that, or he's on the outside in the all-black livery. It's actually the 79 car working the inside. He's going to be taking that third place position. That's Mr. Rodriguez in the Razor Ford Mustang. 2 Mustangs sitting third and fourth. 2 Chevys, 1 and 2.
As we see Travis Rodriguez on the inside of lead, that's Jonathan May, trying to make the overtake stick, but it hasn't stuck. Patrick McQuaid getting Larry on David Hara. I expect Patrick to overtake David at some point here. He looks quicker than him.
Patrick McQuaid has been quick in that muffler, man, 77, all 3 weeks that we've been able to call him. The only man that's been able to beat him is, well, sitting right next to me in the booth here across the pond, which sounds weird, but he is sitting right next to me, I assure you guys.
Oh, yeah. No, Patrick's got speed in that number 77. I wouldn't be surprised to see him in victory lane at the end of this. He has got the speed. He is a good driver.
He sure does. As Travis Rodriguez in the 79 kind of lost some momentum there. He ended up giving that third place back to Mr. May and fell back to fourth place as he's going to start working that outside line. Now, on a track like this, if you got to run on the inside, you got to make it quick because you can't run the inside too much because you got to start considering tire wear. Is that correct, Louie?
Yes and no. The inside around here doesn't really work that well unless you can get sort of a good slide job onto them sort of thing. It's more of a lane free sort of the outside of the lighter grey area. That's the line to run here. If you get the inside, oh, someone's spun.
Oh, and we got another caution here on lap number 15. Let's test, fingers crossed. SimRacingApps.com takes us back to the action. So let's take a look. Let's see if we can get some of that action. It is involving our points leader, Joshua Hetrick. Oh, and our third place leader, or our third place car of the 00, Jay Mays. We're going to start getting a better picture of this. He just comes off that turn, gets a little loose, smacks the inside, and it is a chain reaction after that. There's going to be a total of 4 cars involved, but tough break for that 00 as he's been running third all day. He's going to lose his front end on that.
Now, are we going to see people coming into pit? I don't know. We're on lap 15. I don't know how bad the tyres are. The laps are still quite decent. They're still like roughly around half a second off. I don't think we'll actually see him pitting just yet.
We get an inside look at this. This is coming from that third car as he did just get a little bit loose there. Tough break there. As we get back live into the action, obviously Joshua Hetrick and the other cars involved definitely are going to pit. Long race to go as we've only completed 17 out of 150. We start seeing some of those damaged cars take the road. Tough break for number 25 there. He is our championship points leader. David, go ahead.
And we see David Lafano and Jonathan May pitting as well. Did they have damage from that? Or is this just a scheduled pit stop?
Well, there were a couple of cars on the tail end involved in there, so that could be a little bit of damage.
Right.
Well, it was the 02 car. It was the 02 car and the 5 car. So actually, Louis, David Lafano was not involved in that at all. So that might have been a little bit of strategy as he maybe wanted to go in there and pick up at least 2 fresh tires.
Ooh, so expect him to be getting up back through this field. I know we're only on 15 laps in, but the tyres, with how much they drop off here, especially with the heat, with how hot it is here, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah, and as we've seen tonight, it's not one of those tracks that's easy to pass. So I think maybe David is saying, I'm going to go in under caution. I'm going to pick up 4 new tires, and I'm going to work my way from 6, see if I can make the run to that top 3 and stay there for the rest of the race.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a good race up. I reckon if David can get these tyres going on the number 8 Toyota, expect him to, if we have a long green flag run, expect him to get to the front and leave the pack behind for now.
Absolutely. As we are on our 7th lap under caution here. Only 2 cautions, which on a track like this, it can be difficult. A lot of guys still working on their setups in our practice session before the race. And really only one of the cautions was a competition, or not a competition yellow, but basically race control called it, as you said, number 5 car of Chad Snyder wasn't really keeping pace up. So they threw out the caution, allowed him to pit, and get his car worked on. He did come out with a fresh nose on that car, but unfortunately was involved in the last wreck, which also involved 25 of Hetrick, the 00 of May, and the 02 car of Tyrone Yo.
So that means with Chad, he must have taken his 2 fast repairs right now.
Oh.
So he has no fast repairs left if he has taken them 2. And we still got a pretty long race to go. New Hampshire is very tricky. If he touches the wall again, that's his. Sadly, I think that will be his race done. He's already 2 laps down at the moment.
As I got to cut away from the broadcast just for a second, Arctic 6 bot gifting a crap ton of subs to the chat. 10 gifted subs to Arctic, or from Arctic Bots. We appreciate you here. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. As the green flag is up, David Harris is going to get onto the straightaway. He's going to check back up high in front of the 77 of Patrick McQuaid, who's still working on catching up to David Harris' pace. 79 of Rodriguez right behind the bumper of Patrick McQuaid, followed by Tyrone Yo in 4th. And in 5th place on the restart is going to be David Lafano.
David Lafano looks like he's getting racy, seeing him going down the inside. In turn 3 and 4, can he make it stick?
As we take a look at this action here between the 2 fastest cars right now, David Hara and Patrick McQuaid. Patrick in the 77, not a playoff driver, but definitely letting these guys know that next season when you see the Muffler Man 77, you better watch out because he's coming for that checkered flag.
We got another hit.
There will be a caution.
Got another car in the wall.
Yeah, got another caution, guys. Race control's going to bring us around.
And sadly, it is Chad Snyder.
It is Chad Snyder. What a tough night for him.
Yeah.
So
Very
far.
tough night.
Yeah. Let's take it.
With his fast repairs done, I think that's his race going to be. I think that's his race done.
Yeah, just getting a little loose there is the 5 car of Chad Snyder. Larry Garnes quick to hit the brakes. It looks like he's going to avoid any front end damage. So good heads up maneuver by the number 20 car of Larry Garnes. But just an unfortunate night for Chad Snyder as he's going to end up probably taking that car back to the pits. And that might be his night.
We see David Hara coming into the pits. No, he's tried to do the dummy on him. He's stayed out. Looks like everyone has stayed out here.
What is the, if we were to stay green, no caution, what is the pit window here at New Hampshire 150 lap race?
I mean, it depends. Roughly with a 2-second tire drop off here, I believe that will be the, it'll probably be around lap 60. But that is a complete guess on my part.
As we say, another big thank you once again to Arctic Bots for supporting the channel here and allowing us to wake up every day and hit that live button as we need some motivation. He's gifted 10 subs to us, so we appreciate you there, Arctic Box. This is All-American Racing League. This is the Tuesday night NASCAR Cup Championship here at New Hampshire, as we are going to be cutting the drivers down to 6 after today, heading into next week's race.
You see Chad Snyder getting the lucky dub there. So now he should only be a lap behind the rest of the field. So hopefully he can get back on the lead lap here and salvage something from this horrible race of his at the moment.
Absolutely, he's going to make his way back up. As Louis just said, he did get the lucky dog, so that's kind of a good break for him. We'll see. Obviously, like you said, he's already done his 2 quick repairs. I don't know how much they were able to work on that car, but he's back out there on the track, and he's going to be turning some laps. As he was kind of, I think, when we talk at the top of the broadcast, he's sitting right in that 4th or 5th place in championship points. So he really needs a strong finish here to cement that top 6.
Yes, he does, but then with Freddie not showing up, hopefully these guys do take it a bit easy. I'm pretty sure they're going to all get through. Sadly, I think Freddie's the one that's going to miss out here.
Yeah.
Sadly. But I think Chad will be just fine.
Yeah, and after today, obviously Martinsville's still going to be a tough one, but New Hampshire seems to be probably the eyesore in the schedule. When the drivers saw New Hampshire, they're probably like, well, that's not my track. I just want to drive and survive. Meanwhile, the 15 of David Hara, who's been sort of a middle-of-the-pack driver in this championship series, has taken a commanding lead as he's led every lap here at New Hampshire.
Exactly. I wasn't expecting David to be up there. To be honest, I was expecting it to be the other David, Lafano. He's normally good around the short track, so he's sitting there. He's not far off though. He's got the fresher tyres. He is P5 at the moment, fresher tyres. But yeah, let's see what this restart comes as we come around 3 and 4 for the green flag.
As you see the 0-2 gear wrench of Tyrone Yo sitting up on the high track, but David Harris with another huge jump onto the green. 79 of Rodriguez is going to come onto the inside of Patrick McQuaid and take that second place from Patrick McQuaid. We'll see how that 77 Muffler Man responds to that, as the 79 and the 15 both go low. 79 making a run on the high side on the backstretch. Let's see if he can catch the number 15 and throw David Hara for that first place.
Where did that speed come from Travis right then? He has just unleashed that thing.
Yeah, that was wicked right there.
I think Patrick wasn't expecting Travis to come on that quick. Soon I reckon he will have David. If he can get that full Mustang up pretty good, and you see him trying to work that outside.
Working the outside line was Travis Rodriguez in the 79, but David has closed the door on that as he has now given himself about a half a car length between him and Rodriguez, slowing him down a little bit. The 79 car is going to check back down and fall in line behind the number 15 of David Hara's. Behind him is the 77 of Patrick McQuaid, who has managed to stay in that third place. But here comes David Lurfano in the G Fuel 8, trying to put his name stamped on New Hampshire here, as that's our top 4 with 28 of 150 laps completed.
Travis is really looking like he's trying to get this outside going. He's getting the runs on the straights. He's just got to try and make the outside work. He's nearly there. He's side by side with Hara at the moment. If Hara can go this good side by side, I think Travis will have it with like 2 laps. In 2 laps time, if he can get the outside going.
Yeah, and if you're David, if you're David, do you almost just kind of want to let him go and then fall back behind him? Because it looks like David's going to be fighting that 79 on the inside. What you don't want is the 77 and the 8 of David Lurfano to just follow suit behind Travis Rodriguez. But none of that matters. It's completely irrelevant, as David Hara has secured first place from Travis and went to the high side. But on the inside, here comes the 79 of Travis Rodriguez, as we do have a new race leader for the first time here at New Hampshire. 30 laps down, and we got a new leader.
You expect now Patrick to be looking at what Travis has done and try to do the same thing on David. Maybe David's tyres starting to go off and Travis has saved his tyres. We know Travis is good at saving tyres. He's one of the guys that pits later on in all the races, like he has done at Auto Club and Kentucky. He was one of the last to pit and try and lead 1 lap for an extra point.
That was really, really fun to watch by Rodriguez. Very textbook. He knew when to be patient. He knew when to be aggressive. It took him a couple of laps, but like my buddy in the broadcast booth said, within that 2 laps, he did end up taking the lead from David. So now we got to see how David's going to be responding from him. This is the first time all race that he hasn't been in the lead. We'll see if he can keep his patience down, but the 79 of Rodriguez actually makes a mistake. He's going to get loose. He's going to hit the wall. He's going to save it, but I think it's going to bring out a caution, as Patrick McQuaid caught a little bit of that.
No caution. Patrick McQuaid saved it.
Patrick McQuaid does end up saving it, but nonetheless, he's going to fall back. So is the 79. That's a tough break, because where I was going with that, Louis, is David in the 15 going to start pushing it a little too hard, start hitting panic mode because he lost that? But indeed, it was the other drivers of Rodriguez who maybe hit the panic button, and that's no good for either of those drivers.
Yeah, but now we got David Lurfano in second place, and remember, he's got 15 lap younger tyres, and he's got a bit of fresh air between him and Hara in front. So maybe he can pounce on Hara a bit now.
Yeah, he can make a move for Hara. He's got some work to do, as he's about 1.5 seconds off on the back stretch. But as you can see in the relative, he is cutting into that a little bit. Now, the good news for David, there's nobody in front of him, and there's nobody behind him. He can finally take a deep breath. He can focus back on his racing line, as he is going to take the lead back here at New Hampshire. 34 laps complete.
Yeah, exactly. I expect David now to be thinking in his head, right, I've got David Lurfano behind me. He's on good tyres. He's on quicker tyres. He is catching up. Do I just save my tyres a bit more, hoping that there will be a yellow flag? Don't forget, this is New Hampshire. Yellow flags are common. Loads of cars are going to be spinning off 2 and 4.
That is true, as we're on board with 79 just to take a look to see if he had what his damage is, and he's coming loose off that turn once again. So he does have some rear spoiler damage. We'll see how that affects. I mean, this isn't Talladega, but nonetheless, damage is damage to the car. We'll see how he reacts with the 77 of Patrick McQuaid behind him. These guys are both just hoping for a caution so that they can get into the pits, fix their car, and get back on track to have a chance to get back into this race.
Now, all the field isn't spread out. There's not that much racing going on now, so I reckon it's going to be a David Lurfano who's going to catch this, the other David Hara, quite soon. He looks like he is slowly closing the gap.
With the 00 of Mr. May behind him, actually gaining on David Lurfano as well. So David Hara is about to have some company up there sooner or later, and not just 1, but 2 with David Lurfano and the 00 of May closing in on David Lurfano pretty convincingly here, Louis.
Yeah, Jonathan May, he's showing what he's got under that Ford Mustang bonnet. He's had some bad luck at Auto Club by spinning going into pit lane, and then at Kentucky with 2 laps to go, sadly getting hit by Chad Snyder. But yeah, he's got that Ford Mustang pretty going at the moment. Expect him to be quite fierce with that. He hasn't had a good season so far at the moment, so he's going to be wanting a win, and he'll do anything he can to try and get that. Remember, friends are enemies here.
So we had an exciting about 10 lap stretch there. Didn't feel like we had a whole lot of room to breathe here, but now everything's back under control. As Louis said, everybody's kind of giving each other a buffer here. Not a whole lot of racing going on as far as side-by-side action, but that's okay. Let's see if we can get a long green stretch here and start seeing when some of these pit windows start closing, who's going to make the call, who's going to stay on for some bonus points.
I do expect Travis to be one of the last to hit. I don't know how bad his damage is, but he doesn't look too bad sitting behind Patrick McQuaid at the moment.
Yeah, Patrick McQuaid, as you said, he saved it. Now, obviously he went off track and he fell back, but the important thing is, Louis, I don't think he hit a wall. I don't think he's got any damage on that 77 car.
No, he went on the tiny infield bit on the back straight where the road course goes, so he didn't really lose it. He didn't get any damage, so his car looks fine at the moment. I'm hoping he can make his way back up there. I really hope he does get a win, sadly coming second place in the last 2 races.
Yeah, Patrick McQuaid has been grinding his tail off for his trying to get his first win here at All-American Racing League. This is going to be the toughest way to do it, but I feel like if anybody's got the speed, it is going to be that Muffler Man 77 of Patrick McQuaid as we head back up to our race leader, David Hara. Had a little bit of a scare there, lost the lead, kind of fell off pace. Maybe he was trying to save some tires, but ever since that spin out, he's demanded control of this race. I'll say it that way.
Oh yeah, he's doing very well at the moment. They're lapping a second slower than their qualifying pace. Pardon, their time ain't too bad. Expect him to go for another probably around 30-40 laps until you start seeing green flag pit stops. Oh, we got I believe that's Tyrone on the front stretch then, nearly losing it. Sorry, no, that's Chad.
Chad Snyder in the 5th car had some high hopes coming into this race. Let's take a look at him as he's coming off that turn there. Does he get a little loose? Yeah, he gets a little bit high there. It almost looks like he's losing control of that car, Louis. Obviously, you can see he doesn't have a front end. He did use his fast repairs, so he's working with what he's got, but he's having a hard time holding on to that car.
Oh, exactly. And even in the best of times when the car is in good nick, that exit of 2 and 4, you got to be so careful on that gas pedal. One little squirt, like one little bit more, and you do know about it. Your car does not like it. And we see David Lurfano is getting closer to David Hara.
Yeah, David Lurfano sitting about 300 tenths of a second behind our race leader, David Hara, who's has led the majority of this race. You got the 00 of Jonathan May sitting back in 3rd place. He's been strong all year, especially in the playoff contention races. Number 4th is going to be our championship race leader. That number 25 car, Louis, he struggled at the beginning of this race. Maybe not necessarily his own doing, but he got into a wreck. He got into a little bit of trouble. For him to be sitting number 1 in points and sitting 4th right now, hey, he's got to be feeling pretty good about himself and his race up until this point.
He's got to be feeling very happy with what's gone on for him so far. It's been he's had quite a eventful race, shall we say. But he's still sticking it out. He's not that far behind. He's, what, 2.6 seconds behind the race leader?
3.68.
3.68, sorry, my mistake. So he's not that far off to go and catch him.
Well, to be fair in your defense, he is 2.6 into the turns. It's on the straightaways they start falling back a little bit, so a little tricky to catch up with that relative sometimes, especially since you're not watching. You're kind of on my broadcast, which I think does have a 5-second delay. So
no, I am watching it through. I'm actually watching it through iRacing. It's just
oh, very nice, very
it's
nice.
very slow.
Fair enough. Fair enough. 103 laps to go out of 150. As
David Lozano is right on the back of David Hara, and Jonathan May's not far off.
yeah, Jonathan May had a little bit of slip coming out of that turn there, or else he would have been on the back bumper of David Lurfano. As you just said, he is closing that gap. Look at that relative, 0.17 seconds behind and closing in our race leader, David. This is for the lead here. David Lurfano and David Hara both sitting pretty high into the points. David Hara sitting third. If he can come away with the win here at New Hampshire, he could be climbing them championship points real fast.
Oh yeah, he can be. He's doing so good so far. He's had quite a fourth and a fifth place finish, I believe, from Auto Club in Kentucky. But he's going to be looking to win this race. He is strong here. He looks like he's really close going. Expect to dive bomb at some point going into 1 and 3.
As we just get on the better half of completing 50 laps here at New Hampshire out of 150, we're a third of the way, and David Hara has the number 8 of David Lurfano still on his bumper. This seems to be a 3-man race up until this point. We'll start seeing if these guys are going to start pitting, as David Hara is going to come in. He's done fighting. He's going to come down to pit road. He's going to give up that first place to David Lurfano, who will happily lead his first lap here at New Hampshire.
Now, what does everyone else do, especially David Lafano? He's got one less set of tyres now, but he's going to keep going, hoping for another caution in the latter half of the race.
Oh, and it looks like the 00 of May loses a lot of his traction there, and he's actually going to spin out and hit the inner barrier there. That's a tough break for him. That's going to be a lot of front end damage as we take another look at that. Coming off that turn, so this is about a lap before this happens. We're going to see David dip down low and take it to the pits.
So now that might actually hurt David Hara. If he's in front of Chad Snyder, he will get a lucky dog. But if Chad Snyder's in front of him, Chad will get a lucky dog. I don't know if he is actually a lap down though.
That
David
rear
Hara.
end just took off from the 00 there. As you take another look at this, coming off of the turn, it looks like he was doing just fine, felt comfortable with getting on the gas, and then just a little too much. Had to fight some oversteer there, and he's going to hit the wall pretty hard. But luckily, when he did come into the inside, looks like he's going to hit those tire barriers. So it might not be as bad as I originally thought. But either way, a tough break for the 00, and as you said, a tough break for David Hara as well.
Well, we're just going to see what goes on with David Hara at the moment, because he was a lap behind. So I think that's going to sadly, yeah, I think he is going to be more or less about third or fourth how this will work round.
So David Lurfano,
won't.
Joshua Hetrick, and Patrick McQuaid all making their way out of the pits. These guys are probably at this stage of the race going to be getting all 4 tires, adding some fuels back into those race cars as we start seeing a couple of changes up here on the relative. We'll wait until they're all the way gridded. I don't want to be premature on calling the race leader and who's where and So we'll just have to see how it plays out.
I believe actually it has hurt Travis Rodriguez the most. He's now a lap down. I believe he didn't pit. I might be wrong.
There's the 00 coming into his pit stall now. He's going to use one of his quick repairs and probably get fresh tires as well.
So yeah, that did hurt David Hara. He is now P8 because of that. So that caution did not come at the best time for him and for Travis. That's put him now at the back of the field for the start.
Only our 4th caution here at New Hampshire. We've spent 15 laps under yellow. It was getting to about that time right now, though, where the pit windows start closing in on these drivers. They were going to have to make a decision anyways, and the 00 of Jonathan May said, I'll make it an easy decision, as he got into a one-car accident and allowed these guys to come into the pits under caution. So right now on my screen, I have David Hara's actually behind the pace truck, followed by the 79 car of Rodriguez.
Yeah, so do I, and I believe they're going to have to let
there they go.
Rodriguez and David are going to go to the back of the pack here.
So it's going to be David Lurfano in the 8 leading us around with our championship cup standings leader, Joshua Hetrick, probably winning that out more than anybody as he finds himself on the outside of grid 1.
That is a big shame for David Hara. He's been leading all this race at 1-2 laps, and that he had that green flag pit stop, and literally as soon as he was leaving pit road, that yellow flag come. That has hurt him big, but let's see what he can do.
Yep, we still have 95 laps to go here at New Hampshire. I'm sure there's going to be a couple of more cautions. Definitely another pit window to come in. So definitely a lot of time for David to work with. He's just got to be patient, stick with his race line. As 1 lap to green, the pace truck's going to come off. It's going to be the number 8 car in that G Fuel, David Lurfano.
Green flag.
Huge jump for the number 8 cars. He's going to slide up in front of Joshua Hetrick. Patrick McQuaid making his way back onto the scene. He's going to be on the inside of that 25, taking over that 2nd place. Let's see if he can shut the door coming off of the turn, and he does. So Patrick McQuaid back up to 2nd place, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, Patrick's got a good car there. Remember, they're all on fresh tires now. I believe David Lurfano doesn't have any left, so these will be his last for the whole race, I believe. But let's see what David Hara can do. He's had the speed. He is now, P8? At the back of the field, he's got to get past Chad. Chad's in front of him. We know Chad's got a bit of damage. Larry's also in front of him.
Yeah, Larry Guards in that 20 did just eat the wall a little bit too, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. He is towards the back, but we'll see if he can keep pace. Maybe the damage wasn't that bad, but he is in front of David Hara. So David Hara trying to work his way back through the field, trying to get in front of some of these slower cars. Let's see what he can do, as him and Rodriguez, who were 1 and 2, are now 8th and 9th.
So we see David Hara is now 7th. He got past Larry Guns. And we see Joshua Hetrick trying to go down the inside of Patrick McQuaid here.
As we catch back up to the action in the front, as he said, the number 25 car trying to work that inside line. Nothing happened there yet, as Patrick McQuaid has kind of extended that gap between him and Hetrick. David Lurfano, though, with about a half-second lead coming out of the turns, only growing more on the straightaways.
Exactly, he's starting to grow that lead on Patrick McQuaid. I'm just watching the fight with David Hara at the moment. He's going to be a bit angry, a bit annoyed about that yellow flag, considering he's been leading all race. Expect him to do a good old bump and run on Chad Snyder here. We know Chad's got a bit of damage, so David doesn't want to get stuck behind him and Tyrone.
Yep, that is true. Both these cars in front of David working with a little bit of damage, so he's got his work cut out for him if he wants to get that blue-gray 15, as we do see a car off track. Let's see if that pulls out the caution. Oh, no! David's involved in an accident with the 02 car as he's going to go nose first into the wall. Oh, that's so tough.
That is so unlucky.
He was about to get the caution that he wanted, and he ends up getting tangled in that gear wrench 02 car of Tyrone Yo. As we take another look at that, that is just a tough break all the way around for all these cars. As we go back to this number 20 car, just getting a little high up there. I was a little worried about these cars in the back as we started seeing some of this going on. We're you know, just trying to see if David could work his way in, and it did end up costing him here. As we start seeing the number 5 car of Chad Snyder, he loses grip. He goes down in the infield. He smacks the wall, so his car and his race day are certainly over at this point. As we hop back onto the number 15 car of David Hara, we're going to see this from his perspective here. So this is Tyrone Yo. You see the car go off to the infield. Here's David Hara. Oh, man. No fault to the number 2 cars. It looked like David thought that he had actually cleared the number 2 car of Tyrone Yo and just came up a little bit high on him. So a little bit of a mental mistake there by David Hara. But as you said, a little bit of mental frustration. You did say he was going to be trying to get back up and do a little bit of bump and run. I think he might have just had some mental frustration, didn't realize that the number 2 car was there. He came up a little bit high, and it's going to cost him.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly like what I said. He's going to be a bit angry. He's going to be more annoyed now that he's what, P7 now.
Now he probably does have a quick fix though, or a quick repair.
He'll still have his chief quick repair. I haven't seen him touch the wall or anything when he's up front.
So a tough break for David Lurfano as Patrick McQuaid, one of the fastest drivers in this series. He had finally gotten a little bit of a buffer between himself and that number 77 car, but with that caution, that's going to bring these guys back bumper to bumper on another restart.
Exactly. It's going to be good. I reckon Patrick McQuaid's got that speed to get around David Lurfano without a doubt. Now, how revved up is David Hara going to be?
Well, Travis Rodriguez in that 79 is going to find himself all the way back up into 5th, and we know he's got a strong car as well.
Yeah, I totally forgot about Travis. It's going to be interesting coming to the green flag here. What happens? Give it about 10-15 laps. I guarantee there'll be another caution.
So some of these guys starting to show the wear and tear of a frustrating race that New Hampshire can be. Pace truck's going to be off. It's going to be up to David Lurfano to get a good green start here, as Joshua Hetrick was right on that bumper of David, but he takes it in stride as he gets a big jump on the 25, but the 77 of Patrick McQuaid on the outside. Looks like he's going to take the lead convincingly from David Lurfano and shut the door on first place, as we got a new race leader here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, Patrick McQuaid is going to be getting in front now, and they're coming up on to lap on David Hara after his horrible crash with the O2.
Joshua Hetrick starting to fall off pace as the 00 of May and the 79 of Rodriguez are going to take 3rd and 4th respectively from that 25 car. But again, he is our points standings leader, so he is just trying to survive the race. He's going to fall back to 5th place. Here comes David Harris in 6th in that 15, trying to do anything he can to get back up towards the front. Tough break for him.
Exactly, and also Chad has lost another lap somewhere. He's now back to 2 laps down. Looks like it would be 3 laps down. I said I thought that David Hara getting lapped. My mistake. It will be Chad Snyder being down 3 laps. What a poor race for our Xfinity champion.
Yeah, he's 2 laps down with the leaders closing in. Going to bring him down to 3 laps here relatively soon. But the race for first place between David Lurfano and 77 is what we're going to keep our eyes on, as they're pretty tight there. Only a quarter of a second separating these cars as they come around the backstretch, crossing that finish line. That's going to be lap 68 of 150 in the books.
Exactly. Now, Patrick McQuaid's will Chad help David Lafano in any way? We're trying to get that lead. I'm not too sure. Will he play a prospect of David Lafano getting back in front of Patrick McQuaid here?
Chad Snyder doing the gentleman thing, getting up high, letting these leaders pass. Shout out to number 5, as I've seen a lot worse than that. So kudos to Chad, letting these drivers by, as he knows his race is pretty much over. He's out there for pride. He's going to finish this race just like all these drivers in this league would.
Yeah, exactly. And as we see, David Hara looks like he's not going to make that much time up. He's still got a bit of a gap to Joshua Hetrick in front. And then you've got 3 cars of Rodriguez, May, and I believe that's Chad. Oh, and we got a spin.
That's, was that Rodriguez?
I believe that was Rodriguez.
Yep, that's the 79 of Travis Rodriguez, who had worked his way up from 9th place back up to 4th. But he's going to lose a couple of spots after that as we take another look. Oh, man, as he got into the side, he just got up high a little bit. Nothing Chad could do. Chad was giving him the inside line, and the 79 car kind of just came crashing in on him. So that's a tough break for Travis.
Maybe what happened there on the exit turn, and Travis maybe got a bit loose coming up the end there. As I said, the exit at 2 and 4, it can be a bit tricky. Put that gas pedal down a bit too much, and it will just spin out in front of you. Maybe he tried to correct it and then got into Chad.
Oh, man. Yep, he came in fast and hard. Nothing Chad could do. He was trying to stay out of the way. The number 79 car that car just took him up a little too high. And as we see Chad back into the pits, David Hara is going to go in for some fresh tires as he's looking for any kind of advantage he can get. Possibly also maybe getting a couple of more repairs done, as the 02 car of Tyrone Yo, 79 of Travis Rodriguez, and the 20 car of Larry Garnes all choosing to pit. David Lurfano, the real winner here, is they're going to be able to start from a restart here. He's going to be on the outside, sitting in P2. Patrick McQuaid still going to be our race leader, followed by the 00 in 3rd, and Joshua Hetrick in 4th in the 25 black livery. We'll see what David comes out as. There were some cars that were laps down, so he's not going to go all the way to the back of the grid. And we'll see who gets the lucky dog here. I'm not too sure. I know Larry Garnes and I think Chad Snyder were both a couple of laps down.
Larry Garnes, I believe, was actually on the lead lap. It will be Chad that will get the lucky dog and go back to 2 laps down. We're not even halfway into this race yet.
Yep, 79 laps to go. We've only had 6 cautions for 21 laps as these drivers got to work a little bit harder on these. And, you know, you got to feel for the guys that are using direct drives right now as well, like a David Hara. Some of these guys on these smaller tracks might have the advantage by using some of the belt-driven and gear-driven wheels, as simply in these longer races, they're just not working as hard.
If I was the crew chief right now, I'll be telling my driver, right, calm down. We're not even halfway through this race at the moment. There's still a long way to go. With how many crashes there have been?
As long as... Yeah, I feel like as long as you're on the lead lap, you're in some pretty good shape right now.
Exactly. There's still 78, 77 laps to go. Still a long race to go. As I believe we'll be going green next lap.
So far, the fastest lap of the race, I believe, has been set by Tyrone Yo with a 104.2.
Tyrone has seriously picked up his pace since I first raced him at Homestead when he first joined onto the iRacing server. He has picked up a ton, and I was so surprised when we got to, where was it? I believe it was Auto Club. Was it Auto Club? Yeah, Auto Club. And he was so quick. I remember I was lapping him, and he kept with me for about 10 laps, and I was surprised because I had new tyres and his was older than mine. He has come on a ton.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's 5 laps down here.
I read that wrong. I don't know what I was thinking about. The best lap so far is David Lurfano with a 30.312.
Ah, you got my hopes up.
30.312. Well, I'm looking at best lap and I'm looking at last, but the last is over a minute, and that can't be a lap because obviously they're completing them here in 30 seconds. So maybe he's got the 2 quickest laps combined. Either way, nonetheless, green flag racing. Patrick McQuaid in the 77 with a pretty good jump, but David and the 00 car right on his heels. As the 00 car is going to be locking it up on that inside. David's going to cut in, take control of that second place, and Patrick McQuaid's going to jump out to a half-second lead. Halfway through, 75 laps complete.
Wow, that Chevy, that number 77 of Patrick McQuaid, he has got that thing set up perfectly by the looks of it.
The 00 and just about everybody else falling off pace here as we see the 15 car, though, of David Hara back up into that 4-5 position. And as you said, long race to go. So good to see David Hara in the 15 car, staying patient, working his way back up through all the bad luck. We'll see where he's at, with a quarter of the race to go here coming up.
Sorry, Faded.
No, you're fine.
I was going to say, we know on the long runs, if this does go green for quite long, we know Patrick is very good on these tyres on the long run. We know David at Kentucky with his long run, his tyres dropped off. So will that be the same here? I know it's a different track, but
that is true. As
quite interesting.
we got some of the best drivers in this league up front battling it out in that 77 and that 8 car as they've put out a huge gap between them and the rest of the field. David Harris working his way back up into that 4th. He's going to be looking for a 3rd place here pretty soon. Let's see if he can work his way around the 00. That'd be amazing for David Hara.
Especially after with what happened with him and the 02 and Ocean, this would be perfect for him. As I said, he's still going to be a bit flustered, a bit annoyed with what happened, and he will want to get back up front as soon as he can. And
you see the 79 car of Rodriguez. Remember, these guys were running 1 and 2 at the beginning of the race, so these guys are trying to work their way back up into the field. If they can get a good run and or we get another caution, David and the 79 car is going to be right back into contention.
Yeah, exactly. As we see, Travis trying to go around the outside here.
So there it is. David back up to 3rd. 79, Travis Rodriguez going to be back up to 4th. Jonathan May going to fall to 5th.
Exactly, and I don't see it being long until the 15 and the 79 catch up with the 77 and the 8. We know they got the speed. Now, how can they actually use it to their advantage and put them 2 up front under a bit of pressure?
David making a run on this number 8 car. David, we're about to start seeing some action here, my friend.
Yes, and I believe Patrick and David didn't pit that last caution, and I believe Hara did it, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, David did pit. He's probably got at least 2 fresh tires, if not all 4.
Oh yeah, you don't want to take just the right sides here, especially on iRacing. If you just take your 2 right sides, you're just gonna it's gonna be like driving on ice.
So there it is, guys. David probably has 4 fresh tires. That's what allowed it. I would assume that 79 car does as well because, they didn't start 3rd and 4th. They started in the back, and we've only been green for a few laps here, and they're already gaining traction on that 2nd place car of David Lurfano. So I would assume the 15 and the 79 definitely have fresher tires. I mean, look at the gap closing here between that 8 and 15.
And we see, I'm looking at the back of the pack between the 20 and the 02. They're having quite a good battle there, Tyrone and Larry.
Well, shout out to Tyrone and Larry as they are battling it out back there for that 7th place position.
Yeah, Tyrone goes higher. He might just straighten the ball a bit, but Larry's underneath him.
Well, and you definitely want those guys in the back to be running good, because last thing you want in a race like this is for those back markers to be running rough. Oh, the number 8 car getting a little loose. That's going to allow David to secure that 2nd place position back, and Travis Rodriguez of the 79 as well.
Not what the 8 needed.
No.
Now, can the 15 pounce on Patrick? Can David pounce on Patrick?
As we see, it looks like David Hara has made all the right decisions to get himself back up. Got into some big trouble in the middle of this race here. I thought maybe he was done, and he's proven me wrong up here in the booth, as he's made all the right pit strategies. He stayed patient, and here he is going to be fighting Patrick McQuaid for the lead. That's going to be the 15 car of David Hara trying to reclaim his 1st place.
And David hasn't actually won a race this season, even in any of the seasons of All-American Racing League yet. If he can get this going, it'll be his 1st win. Funnily enough, after Kentucky, he was saying that he wants his 1st win to come pretty soon. Maybe this is it. Travis looks like he's got speed though.
Well, David Hara, you got the broadcaster's vote of confidence up here. We're all rooting for you, as biased as we can be, but I'd love to see David get his 1st win here at New Hampshire with everything he's been through with this race. However, back to reality. The 79 car of Rodriguez, just as fast as David, as David's going to go on the inside of Patrick McQuaid. Let's see if he can get it done.
Thing is, it's difficult running that inside because you haven't got that much banking, so the car's a bit more unsteady.
Yeah, maybe the only error David's made in a while, is that's actually not only going to cost him some time, that's going to cost him a position, as Rodriguez snips past David. But again, 64 laps to go. Now David knows not to do that again, as Patrick McQuaid still our race leader.
It is pretty tricky to overtake people here. It's going to be a bump and run quite soon, just to get to the front.
As I know we got some fans of the 15 watching at home. We're all pulling for him as well to get his 1st race win here. But we got to call it like we see it. That was a mistake by David, as he's had to fall back down into 3rd place. He's about a 2nd off pace now. But if there's anything we've learned today, it's that 79 and that 15 car can charge back up into the lead, as Travis Rodriguez is fighting for the battle with the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. Let's see if he can make the inside line work in his Ford Mustang.
See, Patrick McQuaid still got it outside if he's going to get the exit off of 2. Hopefully he can, Travis gets back behind him. It's so difficult to pass around here. As I said, it's going to be a bump and run. But I just have to say, that paint scheme on that 15, it looks amazing.
Yes, it does. That's the blue-gray custom, the plastic fabrication. Custom plastic fabrication.
And also they are coming up on a lap car now as well. They are coming up on Larry Gunn. I believe it's Larry Gunn. I might be wrong. Sorry, my mistake. Tyrone. So they are coming up on Tyrone. So let's see how Tyrone affects Patrick and Travis here. There's not much between the top 4 cars.
Here they come, Patrick McQuaid, Travis Rodriguez, and David Hara coming up onto the slapped car. Let's see how they maneuver around it, as they're going to call for the outside line.
Tyrone's just going to give it to him, but then Tyrone's on that inside. Hopefully he doesn't spin it. There's no banking there.
Tyrone doing the best he can to stay out of these guys' way. Fine job by Tyrone. Yo there. That's a strange name to say. Say that 3 times in a row.
Oh, that's the problem. Tongue twister, isn't it?
Yeah. Back up to the race for the lead. 79 of Rodriguez looking on the inside of Patrick McQuaid, but we've seen this before. Patrick McQuaid's going to ride that outside line all the way back up to securing first place position.
And they haven't got far till they catch up to Snyder here. Remember, he's got quite a lot of damage on that number 5 fringe Chevy.
David Hara getting back up on pace. He lost a couple of seconds there just for a couple of laps, but he's right back up into third place, storming onto the back bumper of Travis Rodriguez of that 79, rocking the Razor livery.
Exactly. He's down the bottom of the 77 there. Let's see if he can make that move stick.
And it looks like he is. He's going to close the door on the 77 of Patrick McQuaid. He'll probably drift up just a little bit high on this back stretch to make sure. There he goes. Pass complete. New race leader, the 79 of Travis Rodriguez. $57 laps to go here at New Hampshire. This is All-American Racing League. This is the Tuesday night NASCAR Cup Championship race, round of 6. Somebody is going to go home still part of the chase, and a whole lot of people are going to go home out of it for the rest of the season. Whoa, 79 car getting a little loose. That's going to open the door for Patrick McQuaid to make up a little bit of time, but the 79 regaining control, as you can see. Some of these cars getting into that clean air. That's a couple of times now. Race leader has successfully made the pass and then gotten a little bit of squirrely a lap later. Oh man, look at Dave. He pushed that braking zone to the limit. As it looks like Patrick's actually going to go in for some for a pit with 55 laps to go. What are your thoughts on that? As we hop on back on board with our leader, 79 Rodriguez, coming up on some lap traffic. That's the number 5 car of Chad Snyder, who's had a heck of a day for himself. Just glad to see him still out there grinding through it. No quitting these guys at all. So the 79 car and the 15 car back in their rightful positions, 1 and 2, only reversed this time, as it was Travis who was chasing David around the track. Now the roles have reversed. Let's see if David can bring some heat for that number 79.
So what happened to the 77? Did he just have a green flag pit stop?
Yeah, he did a green flag pit stop. Maybe he was having, maybe he had some tire wear. I don't know.
Now he is a lap down. So let's see, will there be a caution quite soon? Because if not, it's gonna knock him up quite bad. But as we see, the 79 in front with the 15.
David Hara in that 15, looking for his first race of the season. Probably one of the more consistent drivers in the league, but he wants that checkered flag. 79 getting loose.
Ooh.
That's the second time he's made that mistake. Car just getting a little bit loose from him, having to deal with that oversteer. Now he's been able to save it both times. However, that time it's going to cost him the lead and some valuable seconds.
You see another green flag pit stop there. Yeah, now we got David Lafano more or less on the back of number 8 now. 2.
Yep, David Lafano going under a green flag pit stop here, coming up on 50 laps to go. We're 3/4 of a way into this race. It's been a doozy.
It's been a...
Whoa, what happened with David Hara there? We missed the action as Rodriguez just shot past David. I'm assuming he got a little bit loose there.
He got a bit loose coming off of 4.
I'm surprised that wasn't a caution. The 0-2 car of Tyrone Yo, who's a lap down, spun out and did a full 360, hitting his nose. However, there was no cars around him. That's Chad Snyder passing him on that. So, tough break for Tyrone Yo.
Now we see more green flag pit stops coming up here.
Yeah, that's Jonathan May and Rodriguez into the pits. So, David's going to reclaim that lead. Let's see how long he can stay out. Let's see how long he wants to push it before he calls it in. Joshua Hetrick battling out with David Lurfano.
Now all the field is spread out as we see someone else pitting there.
Yeah, that's going to be our race leader, David Hara, coming in for his green flag pit stop.
Now will he still come out in first place? He's waited a couple of laps to come in, and these guys are on fresher tyres, so they're going to be about a second a lap quicker roughly.
All but 3 cars on the lead lap here as David is done with his pit stop. He's going to get back onto the track. We'll see where he falls. Relative showing Joshua Hetrick, our championship cup standings leader, out in first place with an 8-second lead on Larry Garnes in that 20 car, but I assume both of these cars will eventually have to come in and do their own green flag pit stop. Start seeing a couple of changes here in the relative in the standings. Find number 79 here. He's up there with Patrick McQuaid. So I think when this is all said and done, you're going to have 77 of Patrick McQuaid leading the race, followed by that 79 car of Travis Rodriguez.
Now what is the 25 of Joshua Hetrick then? Is he going to stay out and just hope for a caution? All the field is spread out, so it's not very unlikely unless someone spins out in the 2 and 4. But he might be gambling on a caution here.
Yeah, that's a good call there, as he has elected to stay out for a couple of laps here.
Expect Travis Rodriguez to be on the inside of 77 here. Expect him to overtake him at some point.
Coming up on 40 laps to go. We appreciate you guys tuning in here to All-American Racing League. One of the longer races of this championship is here at New Hampshire. These guys have been battling out all day. Lots of cars still on the lead lap. Lots of good racing here as we've had multiple leaders
as you said, longest race of the season. So far, we're 1 hour 10 minutes into this race. The longest race, well, last race we had at Kentucky, it was just under an hour. And we've still got another 40 laps to go. Still going to be another 20, 30 minutes at the moment.
So we start letting some of these cars get back into the action. I'm going to step away from the broadcast booth for just a short period of time. We'll leave you guys on the TV cameras and we'll start watching this race here between the 77 car and 79, as I'm assuming once Joshua Hetrick and Larry Garnes going for their pit stop, this is going to be the race for the lead.
Oh yes, definitely. But remember, David Lafano, is only 4-5 seconds behind. He could still make an impact. As we see, Snyder's in pit road for the number 5 car, 7 laps down at the moment. Unlucky for our playoff contender, number 5 Snyder.
Yep, a quick pit stop indeed, as he's already back out onto the track. He still has some rear end damage there, as if you're joining the race late, he's already used his quick repairs. So
as we see, Travis Rodriguez overtakes the number 77 of Patrick McQuaid here. He gets a bit loose coming off of 2. Patrick McQuaid still on the high line going into 3 and 4.
yeah, that 79 car hanging out for dear life. That's the 3rd time we've seen him do that here. It looks like a 4th maybe coming up. No. See, he kind of backs off there and lets it go. Very fast car in that 79. Maybe a little too fast.
Maybe a little too fast, but he's got it. He'll have it under control. Travis is a good racer. He's had some unlucky parts in the past of the season, as we've seen going underneath, going up to turn 3 again. Hopefully he can make it stick this time and get past Patrick McQuaid.
As we see who's behind them, yep, the 8 car of David Lorfano, working his way back up into 5th, and David Hara into 6th. But again, Joshua Hetrick and Larry Garnes are on old tires. They have not done any green flag pits just yet. So if they and when they decide to do so, we'll start seeing some of these other drivers move up into the standings.
Yeah, exactly. Going with the 25 of Joshua Hetrick, I was expecting the 77 and 79 to catch up to the 25 much more than what they have been doing. So far, it's saying on my count that there's 18 seconds between them. So Joshua just holding on, waiting for that caution flag to run.
Yeah, pretty ballsy strategy by that 25 car, but you know what? He is first in our standing, so I would have to assume if there's anybody who knows what they're doing and why they're doing it, it's that 25 car of Hetrick.
Oh yes, and let's be honest, he knows he's going to be in the next knockout stages. He knows that, so he could take the gamble on it. He'll be fine.
That is true, as it does look like the 25 car is doing a little bit of gambling, trying to get a win. If it works, he's the man. If it doesn't work, well, we'll still see him next week.
It'll work. And as I said before, next week Martinsville is a throwback week. You'll see loads of schemes from the 90s with Dale Earnhardt Senior.
Yeah, well, can you explain to our viewers at home what that means and what that'll mean to the drivers at Martinsville?
So Martinsville, we're going old school. Basically, all liveries are going to be replicas. We're going to go back to throwbacks. So I know for me, if I do race it, I have got a Joey Logano throwback that I've made. It's going to be interesting to see what people come out with their paint schemes.
Yeah, it's definitely always a cool thing for the viewers and myself up here in the broadcast booth to see all these cool liveries. And sometimes in the public lobbies I see a throwback Mark Martin Valvoline or Jeff Gordon livery, and of course you see the the Dale Earnhardts and the Dale Earnhart Juniors, but one that I'm looking
as we have a crash at 10-2.
Looks like we might have a caution here. Yes, we do.
What have you got?
Now, that has worked perfectly into Hetrick's hands, really. Maybe, actually, as we see, if he does pit and no one else does, he would come out P7.
So that's the 02 car of Tyrone Yo, who's going to be giving Hetrick a little bit of a break here. As you said, he's going to be able to pit with probably about 25 laps to go, maybe 22, 23, in that range. But he's going to have the freshest tires out of all these guys. And like you said, he might be coming out of that grid in that 6th, 7th place. So he's going to be right there in striking distance with those fresh tires.
Exactly, and you got to remember what the rest of them, Patrick McRae, Rodriguez, they've been on their tires, 20, 25 laps already. So they're going to be next to nothing in the next 10, 20 laps if we go by what David Hara pitted on lap 40, I believe it was, something around then. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens here as we see him pit.
I'd like to see, going back to the liveries, I'd like to see a throwback Juan Pablo Montoya in the black Valvoline.
Oh, you'll have to see what happens. Maybe that might be one of a one Chad Snyder thing. But sorry, I'm gonna say for someone that we haven't hardly mentioned today, and is actually running P2 at the moment, and that's number 20 of Larry Garn. He is P2 at the moment, coming in 25 laps to go. He is new to iRacing, from what I've been told, and he's actually having a pretty strong day out here in New Hampshire.
Yeah, pretty strong day for Larry Garns as you see him in that All-American Racing League DuPont Chevy. Let's see what his pit strategy is and see what he comes out onto the grid. So a lot of these cars, obviously even the cars that did their green flag pit stops, they really don't have a choice, right? I mean, they're going to come in because they know this could possibly be the last time to come in for a fresh set of tires. So as you see, just about everybody came into pit to get those 4 tires, because if we stick it out to the green, that's going to be it.
Yeah, that will be it. This is what have worked perfectly into the 25 hand. I don't know what happened to Larry though. He got in P2. Where is he now? Because we got Patrick McRae second, we got David Hara.
Well, Larry Garns did pit, and he was very slow in the pit box, so I think maybe he had some damage to take care of. Yes, he's dropped back to 7th now, right behind the 00 of May. So he was in the pit box. He was a little bit later than everybody else. So maybe he forgot to make some last second pit stop adjustments. You'd have really liked to have seen him just maybe take 4 tires and let the car do its thing for the remaining time of this race.
Yes, exactly. And with 20 odd laps to go, we have got David Hara back up there. We got Travis Rodriguez back up there. Them two have been quick all day. Even Patrick McQuaid. Now, how can Joshua Hetrick?
Yeah,
basically, the faster guys, Patrick McQuaid has got that Chevy dialed in perfectly.
Yeah,
so has David Hara.
That
He needs to
25
block
car
this.
has his work cut out for him. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but I'm a little bit excited about this restart because all the top dogs are towards the front here, as you just said. You got the 25 car in the Orr Lawn Care. You got Patrick McQuaid in the Muffler Man 77. David Hara in the blue-gray custom plastics fabrication 15. The 79 car rocking the Razor, that's Travis Rodriguez. And David Lurfano sitting fifth in the G Fuel. So all the top dogs have found their way back with just 25 laps to go. This is going to be an interesting finish here, guys. Don't go anywhere. You're going to want to watch this.
And we get ready. Coming up to green, Joshua Hetrick is the one that decides when they go. Let's see when he goes. As he goes now, he gets a good jump. Patrick McQuaid is there, but David Hara is still on the inside. Can David Hara make that inside work from Patrick McQuaid?
What are the chances we get down to some three wide action here towards the end of this race? Possible or no?
Not. It's possible. It is very possible. Let's see. Obviously, David Hara had his problems with that first caution, second caution, whenever it was. So, and Travis Rodriguez did have his problems. They know they're fast cars, so expect them to give a little bump and run. I don't. Maybe 3-1 may be possible, but that will be basically suicidal.
Well, what a beautiful restart for that 25 car as he's gained about a half a second lead on Patrick McQuaid, who also has about a half-second gap between Travis Rodriguez and David Hara and David Lurfano battling it out for that fourth place position. David Lurfano on the inside of that 15 car looks like he's going to secure up fourth place for now. 20 laps to go, and our points leader, Joshua Hetrick, sitting nice and comfortable in first place.
Exactly. I don't think this is what Hetrick would have been thinking before this race, that he would be up there with 20 laps to go, as we see Tyrone just exit in the pit after fixing his damage.
Patrick McQuaid got a little bit squirrely there off the turn. That's why the 79 car is up to that second place position. Both these cars very capable of giving Hetrick a run for his money, but right now it looks like Rodriguez is really going to be the front runner to battle it out here. 20 laps to go.
As I just heard that Rodriguez has got the fastest lap. Hetrick loses it on the exit of two a little bit. Rodriguez is on the outside. Can he make that outside work, or can Hetrick keep him? Lock him in.
Patrick McQuaid falling off pace here as he's back into fourth place. I don't know if maybe getting squirrely kind of made him a little bit nervous. Maybe he's holding it back a little bit. He knows he's got a fast car, but you're running out of time. You really got to go all in right here.
Exactly. And as we see David Hara underneath the 77 of Patrick McQuaid here. Looks like Patrick McQuaid might have got a little bit loose coming off of two, so David Hara's gained that spot into fourth place.
So Travis Rodriguez back up to first place. Hetrick trying to hold on to that second place, but he's been getting loose, but so did David Lurfano in the 8G Fuel. That should bring up a caution, I would assume. With 19 laps to go, that's going to be at least a one-car accident for sure. We'll go back and look at the replay, but what a huge, huge break for David Hara, Joshua Hetrick, and Patrick McQuaid, but a tough break for Travis Rodriguez as he was really starting to hit his stride in that first place.
That is such a shame for the 79 of Travis Rodriguez. He started making that gap on Joshua Hetrick right then. That is the last thing he wanted in that Mustang.
So we did look at the replay. It was just a one-car accident involving that G Fuel 8 of David Lurfano. Oh, man. Oh, I didn't think it was going to get any more exciting, and here we are underneath our another caution. We're going to be lining them back up as these guys have just been, I mean, I'd like to see, I want to see if I got some information in front of me right now, how many lead changes we've had this race, because it's been quite a bit.
Oh yeah, it's been more entertaining than what Auto Club in Kentucky was. I'll put it that way.
I don't think my sim racing app Spotter Broadcaster 60 has that information on it, but if we do find it, we'll give it to you guys in the audience.
As we see, Patrick McQuaid has pitted and David Lafayette said Patrick McQuaid's on new tires. Wonder if he can make this work, the 77 of Patrick McQuaid.
Yep, and obviously David's going to pit because he had some damage. I mean, that was simple decision for him. But like you said, Patrick McQuaid, I mean, you're going to be coming up probably about 14 laps to go when we hit green. And he's the only car that was up there in that top 4, top 5 who is going to pit. So we'll see how that strategy goes, as it looks like David Lafano did have at least one more quick repair left. So he's going to get back onto the track, the 77 car, in and out of the pit. So I assume he's only taking 4 fresh tires, no more fuel. He's going to run what he's got, probably got plenty left, as all these rest of these cars do, as we were just under a caution about 10 laps ago. So he's going to come in and try the 4 tires to see if he can make a run. We've watched him race all day. He definitely has a first place contending car. But, man, so does that 79. And, you know, to be honest with you, that 25 car proven to us leading that race for as long as he did wasn't no fluke. He's got the speed to stay up top with these guys.
Yeah, man, he has got the speed. It's going to be interesting with how many laps have we got left. We've got 15 laps left. And remember, we could have some green-white checkers too.
Green-white checkers, indeed. 16 to go. We'll run it around one more time. We'll probably be at about that 14, 15 laps to go when we go green.
Basically going to be like F1 at Azerbaijan last weekend here. A sprint race to the finish right now.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I wouldn't be surprised if we have at least one more caution, as tensions are going to be rising with these drivers. Some of these guys are fighting for their life here to stay alive in the playoff contentions, as we've touched base on. So some of these drivers, yeah, they're safe. They're going to be here next week. But there's about 3 or 4 drivers here where every point matters for them to stay alive in the chase.
Exactly, as I'm just wondering why the safety car didn't come in that lap. Looks like we're going to go green this lap though.
Yep, 1 lap to green. Pace truck's going to bring them around one more time. We're going to be 15 to go when we drop the green flag. I'll let you call this restart here, Louie. You've been doing a fine job all night up here in the broadcast booth. So once that truck goes off, Mike's all yours, buddy.
Yes, man. So as we get ready, 14 laps to go here, it's going to be a dash to the finish. We got Travis, the 79 of Travis Rodriguez, on the front in first, deciding when they can go. He has had a quick car all day. David Hara is right behind him in third, with Joshua Hetrick in second. Expect David Hara to try and do anything he can to get past the 25 as the pace car is about to come in, and we get ready for this green flag to the sprint.
Green flag.
Travis Rodriguez gets a nice little jump there as Joshua Hetrick sits in second. David Hara looking on the inside. Not going to work. As we see to the back, Larry Garnes down the inside, and that doesn't work. So Travis Rodriguez got a nice little gap now. Can he maintain it in front of Joshua Hetrick? Can David Hara bring it up, bring it back into second place?
79 with the jump on there, as we saw for the first time in a long time. Everybody kind of ran the same racing line. I think with 13 laps to go here, everybody's trying to find what they know have worked all race long, and they're just going to keep running that race line for a little while. But you can see they're starting to separate a little bit more as we start jockeying for position. As you said, the 79 car of Travis Rodriguez did get a big jump off that restart. He's maintaining that lead by about 0.3 seconds into the turns. The 25 car of Joshua Hetrick going to give him a run for his money. David Hara, who's probably led, maybe tied for most laps led right now. He's sitting in third place, about a second back behind Rodriguez. He's looking for his first win of the season. So a lot of guys up here towards the front, got a lot to race for. Patrick McQuaid sitting in fourth. Yes, but he gets into the back of David Hara. No!
Caution, caution. Quickly, tell me what you
That
got.
is such a shame on David Hara. Such a shame. Looks like Patrick McQuaid just got in the left quarter panel of David Hara there. That is the last thing that Travis would have wanted. that's a shame for the 15 of David Hara. He has had an up and down race. He has had the car, one of the cars to beat, and sadly I think that his race, he ain't gonna be in the he ain't gonna be fighting for a win now, I'm afraid.
Yeah, looking back at the replay, we're in the cockpit of that 77 Patrick McQuaid. He came off that corner just a little too hard. He started to lose traction. There was nowhere for him to go, as he did try to fight the oversteer as much as possible, but it was just too late, as he did get into the rear quarter panel of 15, David Hara, and that's just a tough break for him. You hate to see it. He's had a good car all day, but, you know, even more so, he's had to battle from the back. He's been in multiple crashes today, and it's just really fought his way back up.
I'm very surprised to see the 25 of Joshua Hetrick there. He was second place, and he had the same age of tyres as everybody else, so that was the last thing I was expecting. Maybe they got something up their sleeve for the last how many laps?
Yeah, so nonetheless, as you said, Patrick McQuaid going to be up in second place regardless of what happened. That's where he's going to be, and he does have the freshest tires out of anybody here, so
I expect that outside to work as well, mate. Hopefully Travis Rodriguez can get that inside line, get the jump and then hold that inside line and sort of block it. But will Patrick McQuaid throw a little bump and run there?
as we are under 10 laps to go, these guys have been battling it out all day long. Some good, hard racing. None of those goofy cautions that we saw last Thursday night where didn't really know what to call. This has been some hard racing here on Tuesday nights. Pretty tough track, as we've talked about through the events of tonight, as far as keeping it under control. A lot of oversteer as the rear end likes to come out if you get a little bit too much power out of the turn. So these guys have been fighting their vehicles all night. They've been doing a hell of a job.
Yeah, and as I said, the cup cars around here at New Hampshire are a handful of exits. I was talking to some of the drivers earlier before this race. I had a little go around here myself, and it just felt like I was driving on ice. I was trying to give them some guidance on where to, on what to do with their setup to try and make it more stable for their guys. And because whatever you do with setups around here, it's gonna just drive like ice on the exits.
So David Hara is actually going to be starting 6 because of some guys that were laps down. He did have to pit because of damage, but that also means he's going to have 4 fresh tires. I know there's not a whole lot of laps left. It looks like we're going to have 7 laps to go, assuming there's no more cautions, which there might be. So we might not have seen the last of David Hara here sitting back in 6th place.
Exactly. This is anyone's race to lose that's on the lead lap right now. Anything can happen within these last 6 laps of the race.
All eyes on 79, 1 lap to green. Pace truck's going to be going off onto the inside. It's all 79 to start him off. Is he going to come that line? He's going to hit that accelerator and get a huge jump off there. 77 of Patrick McQuaid in second, but here comes the 00 of Mr. May on the inside. Let's see if he can make that work. Followed by David Lurfano in 4th, and David Hara on the inside sitting 5th. We'll be looking at him as he's got fresh set of tires.
Now, can Travis Rodriguez keep that inside locked, sort of, and keep Patrick McQuaid in that number 77 Chevy behind him? It's going to be a tall order. We know what Patrick McQuaid's like driving. We know he's good. We know he's quick.
This would be Patrick McQuaid's 3rd consecutive second place, which ain't always the worst feeling in the world, but it can't be the best either when you feel like you're just there each week and yet you can't necessarily get her done all the way for that first place. But he's trying for his first win of the season as well.
Has we got a spin coming out of turn 4?
Caution.
And there it is. Like I said, I didn't think we were done seeing that caution. David did get past Larry Garn, so he moved up to the 5th place spot.
Now this is where it gets interesting.
Oh, that was Joshua Hetrick, our championship points leader, in a single car accident.
I think the O2 clipped him. Not the O2, sorry, my mistake. I think it might have been Patrick that might have clipped him.
He almost got into contact with David too. Really heads up for him by not getting into the 15. Hats off to him. It did end up costing him a little bit more damage individually, but David's been taken out enough in this race, so I'm sure he appreciates the 25 car of Hetrick pulling that wheel to the right as hard as he could to avoid any contact between those two. Now I got to ask you a question. We're gonna be green-white checkered here.
Yeah.
Are we gonna see any of these guys come in for tires?
I'd be very surprised if we do. I don't think we will, considering that we've just had loads of them just pitting for tyres just now. But someone might take the gamble on it and hope that there's another crash in front of them that they can slowly make up their way up through the field.
Travis Rodriguez going to be trying to hold it down. He's been fast all day, so has the 77. All these guys up front have been super quick today. Been super fun to watch. They've been putting a show on here for us here at All-American Racing League at New Hampshire. As you see the O2 car of Tyrone Yo getting the lucky dog. He's going to get a lap back. He's going to get put back behind Chad Snyder. Joshua Hetrick in 7th. Larry Garnes in 6th. David Hara in 5th. David Lurfano 4th. The 00 of Jay May and going to be 3rd with Patrick McQuaid and Travis Rodriguez running 1-2.
It's going to be interesting to see how all these guys are friends, and now we got this green-white checkered. How many of them friends are going to turn to enemies right now with the bump and run around here? We know it's hard to pass around here underneath, and up high you have to have a really good run on that exit, so expect a lot of bump and runs right now.
Gonna be exciting here for sure as we're in the closing laps of this race. You almost don't want it to end. This has been probably one of the better races to call as a broadcaster up here. A lot of fast cars, a lot of good action. We've had so many lead changes.
It's been a joy to actually be up here broadcasting and seeing what you do when we're racing. I always wondered the past 2 weeks at Auto Club in Kentucky. When you have the camera on you, it can get quite intimidating, shall we say, for some drivers.
Yeah, I think if I was racing in this league, I wouldn't even be watching the stream until after. I don't want to know what's going on. I don't want to see myself on TV.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I know quite a lot of these drivers in the background have the stream going so they can hear what's going on, hear what we've been saying and seeing. Personally, I did do the same, but I had it on mute when I was racing at Kentucky and Auto Club. Here we go, green, white, checkered, green flag this time round.
Big shout out to simracingapps.com allowing this free software for our standings up top, plus my camera controls.
So let's just go back over the grid here for this green, white, checker. We got Rodriguez in first, Patrick McQuaid in second, Jonathan May in the 0-0 in third, David Lafano in fourth, Hara, Garnes and Hetrick. They're all on the lead lap.
Look at Larry Garnes up there in 6th in that 20 place. There you go, Larry.
Yeah, we're all rooting for Larry. Hashtag Larry for the win.
Larry for the win here, guys. Our iRacing rookie, as we like to call him, in that All-American DuPont 20. But all eyes on the guys in front. 79 car going to be taking that green flag. Patrick McQuaid with a pretty good start himself. He's going to be opting to take that outside line instead of falling inside. He's going to work the high line on the 79, We'll see how that ends up out of the backstretch if the 79 can close the door, which he cannot. So Patrick McQuaid working this outside line on Rodriguez.
It's close, he's still on his quarter panel here. I reckon Travis will have this if he can keep it down, but Patrick McQuaid's making an outside run. Patrick McQuaid is now winning. Can he win his first race in All-American Racing League?
Patrick McQuaid making the pass work, making the high side work as we got 1 lap to go. That 79 car, Rodriguez trying to pull everything he can. But it looks like this 77 of Patrick McQuaid, the second place drought is over. If he can make this turn, he will pick up his first win here at All-American Racing League. 150 laps down as your race winner, Patrick McQuaid, taking home New Hampshire.
And what a well-deserved victory that was for Patrick McQuaid in the 77 Chevy. He has been driving his socks off it the past 3-4 weeks that I've been here watching and racing with him. We've seen that he has the pace, and now he has now executed his win that he needed. And it's weird in this knockout zone, in this knockout bit. All the 3 races have not been won by a playoff contender.
That is true. As Travis Rodriguez going to be taking home second place. The 00 of Joshua May, third place. David Hara fought his way back and forth. Going to be taking home fourth.
Now, can we see if Patrick McQuaid can do better donuts than I did in Kentucky?
Well, we missed him. I missed him.
Shall we pull good old Patrick in for a chat?
Oh, yeah. Bring him on in here. Is he still doing some more donuts? We'll catch him this time, Patrick.
Hey. You there?
Hey, Patrick, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Hey, your drought of second place is over. This would have been your third consecutive second place. We were rooting for you in the booth to bring home your first win here at All-American Racing. How does it feel? Tough track out there, by the way, but you had a very fast car all night. What does it mean to you to bring home your first race here in this league?
Just relieved. So relieved. I appreciate y'all cheering me on, though. That's awesome to hear. But yeah, just a big relief, a weight off the shoulders.
Yeah, so kind of take us through this race. Travis Rodriguez in the 79 was fast all race. David Hara was fast. He kind of got into some trouble, though, which he was working back and forth. But there was a lot of lead changes tonight. What made you win this race with all these other fast cars on the track?
Honestly, I think it was just consistency. I felt like I was just more consistent. It was loose for sure. You had to have perfect throttle control. But I want to apologize to Hara because that was on me. That was my mistake. I just got in the throttle too early. But yeah, Rodriguez fought me all night, obviously, and it was just a fun race, man. It was fun.
Well, we took a look back at that incident that you're speaking about. We did it from cockpit camera. We saw it was nothing intentional. You came off the turn. You had a little bit too much throttle in there, started to get loose. Really wasn't too much you could do. And in your defense, I mean, we've seen drivers doing that all night. So I wouldn't feel too bad. I'm sure he appreciates the apology there. But, he had a rough night, and he was battling all night. So shout out to David Hara, by the way. That guy put on a show all night for us here. But tonight was all about you, Patrick McQuaid, as you picked up your first win. Now, do you plan on running – we spoke last week, I believe, but you plan on running out the rest of the season here, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, I do.
All righty. Well, man, we look forward to seeing more action. Congratulations on your first All-American Racing League victory, and we'll see you next week in Martinsville.
Thank you. And, again, shout out to Muffler Man. Thank you.
Yes, sir. That 77 Muffler Man, as we pulled David Hara into the booth. Hey, David, do you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, how frustrating are you at with your finish? It seemed like the first half of that race, you were the guy to beat. Then you started getting into a little bit of trouble with a lot of cars did too. I mean, but you put on a show tonight. I know you're probably not as happy with the fourth place finish, but man, I mean, there was a point where you were a lap down, you were in seventh or eighth, and you just kept battling and battling. How do you feel about your night, how it went, and just what it takes to do 150 laps here around New Hampshire?
Man, this blue gray Chevrolet was fast tonight. I mean, we set on the pole. We led the first 50 laps, and then so we came in under the caution, or not under the caution flag. We came in under the green flag, and as soon as we did, we get on pit road, taking tires. Caution flag comes out. It's like the third time this season that's happened to me. But no, so that put us lap down. We were able to get the wave around and get that back, and then it was just fighting our way back up through the field. You know, and I think there was a little incident there with the with actually our race winner, and it's a race incident. Stuff happens. I mean, I know he was a little upset with himself over it, but it's he good driver. Second last 2 weeks, so can't say enough about him. But we had a good car. It takes a lot to get around here 150 laps. It's very tiring. It's mentally draining. Every turn you're trying not to spin out. And for the most part, the field did very well tonight.
Yeah, and Patrick did apologize in his race interview to you, but we went back and looked at that, and I'm sure you guys are already going through your replays. And it seemed like a lot of guys, no matter skill level or no matter where they were at the track, always had that one turn out of nowhere where they started to get loose a little bit. It was just unfortunate that you guys were racing that close for his moment to do that. But no, man, hey, listen, really fun to watch you guys tonight. A lot of guys like yourself up front, in the back, up front, just hard racing all night. So we appreciate calling a race like that. I know the people at home watching like seeing like that. You had some cheerleaders in the chat. So you'll be taking home fourth place, but more importantly, you're going to be going on to the round of 6, my man. So congratulations, and we'll see you next week at Martinsville.
Yeah, thank you very much, and we're looking forward to Martinsville. We had a test race there earlier this year, and we had a super fast car there. So looking forward to next week, and we appreciate you guys up in the booth. Thank All American Racing League for putting all this on, and I'd like to thank my sponsors, Blue Gray Custom Plastic Fabrication, and thank you guys.
All right, brother. We'll see you next week. Hey, Travis, it's Faded and Louie up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Hey, man, fun race to watch. That Razor 79 was fast all night. Unfortunate you couldn't quite squeak out Patrick McQuaid, but hats off to him as he's seen his fair share of second-place finishes of late. Take us through your race tonight. There was a lot of lead changes, but it seemed like no matter what, the guys that should have been up front were always up front when it mattered, including yourself.
Definitely. I know qualifying is where it started bad and just had to get through the field mostly to start. And once I was able to get to the front, I could keep the car moving pretty well. That first, I guess, 1 and 2 incident, lost the car, got high out of the groove, and just had a hard time keeping up after that. But once I got the repairs done, I was pretty good.
Sure. So you're taking home second place. You and David were tied for third in points. I would assume he placed fourth in front of or right behind Jonathan May. So either way, I think it's safe to say both you and David Hara are going to be moving on to the round of 6. So it's tough to not get the win, but I feel like with the show you guys put on, mission accomplished. You're going to be heading into Martinsville next week. Do you feel like a track like New Hampshire, and I'm not comparing the two tracks by any means, but, if you were to go from like a Talladega to a Martinsville, it might be a little bit harder to adjust to where, at least here in New Hampshire, it's a little bit smaller. You have to have a little bit more racecraft. Does racing back-to-back tracks like this help, or does it not really matter? You're going to practice it, during the week no matter what?
I'm still going to put some work in as far as practice goes, mostly just to have a handle on the track more than anything else. As far as, I guess, my comfortability with the track or anything like that, it's really, a lot of it's on the exit. I mean, I know here, almost all of us are struggling with corner exit, with getting loose, getting back end wanting to snap around, things like that. So I think Martinsville is going to be relatively close to doing the same stuff, just having to keep the car underneath you, and as long as you can get that and get a good drive off the corner, it should be pretty even, I think.
Alrighty, man. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, that 79 car was fun to watch. It was fun to call. I hope it was just as fun to drive. We look forward to seeing you next week at Martinsville. Get some rest, get some practice, and, maybe hopefully we'll pull you in next week for an interview, my man.
I hope so. Thank you.
All right, congratulations. Hey, Josh, you got a copy? It's the booth.
Yep, I got you.
Hey, man, so obviously probably not the finish you want. You finished outside the top 5 and 6, but when we talked at the beginning of, before the race, it was like drive and survive. Let's, finish on the lead lap. Let's have a clean race. And then out of nowhere, I mean, you had a 20-second lead at one point, and me and Louie up in the booth were like, all right, he's pitting this lap. Okay, maybe he's going to pit that lap. And you had this green flag stretch of yours. Now, was your thought process on that where you just kind of waiting for a caution to come out? And then, obviously, the guys up front, man, those guys were super fast all night. How do you feel about how you did today, the racing that was on the track, and how do you feel about going into Martinsville next week?
My goal there didn't really have one. Just knew that I wasn't fast enough to go past them straight up, so had to try something different. I was going to be short on fuel, so it was kind of hoping for that caution and see if I could do anything, and then I kind of lost it and sent myself backwards. So, again, we survived, go into Martinsville. Again, another flat short track, and I'm not good at them, so again, it's going to be survival, and hopefully we can just keep it close till we get to Chicagoland, and that's my goal, to get there and have a good run there.
All right, Josh, thanks for your time, man. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen that stuck around for the interviews, I'm Faded GG. Louie Clark, the special guest in the broadcast booth. We'll leave him with some final thoughts. Louie, what'd you think about the race?
It was an amazing race. Very, very busy race, put it like that. Quite a lot of crashes, quite a lot of cautions, but it was one hell of a fun race to watch.
All righty, and now you're back into the driver's seat next week in Martinsville, correct?
Yep, I'm making a return.
All righty, sounds good, man. Well, good luck with that. We look forward to calling the race, and we'll talk to you next week, Louie.
Cheers, guys. Have a good one, all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as I said, I'm Faded GG. This is All-American Racing League. You can find them on Facebook. Just go up to that search bar up top and put in All-American Racing League. Every Tuesday, where we do the NASCAR Cup cars, this is their championship. However, on Thursdays, we do the Tour mods, and on Sundays, we do the Legends. Now, a couple of changes to that. Sundays next season are actually going to be the Gander Mountain trucks, and Thursdays, we're switching from the Tour mods to the late models. It's still going to be the tri-track trifecta. So if you're out there and if you're looking for a league that's running either of those cars and those days, please hit them up on Facebook. We have a really good Discord. We're working on getting all 3 of those nights broadcasted. So if you liked what you saw tonight, it was a hell of a race by all these guys. I love calling stuff like this. Tune in next Tuesday as we enter the round of 6 at Martinsville. Thank you guys for tuning in. All-American Racing League, I'm Faded GG. We'll see you next time.